Gather your stuff, Emily. Your business is already mine, and tomorrow you'll be out of this apartment, her husband declared. But he had no idea that his wife had already signed one crucial document in advance, and in the morning, entering the office, he froze in shock. Like this video, if you've ever been through something like this in your own life. Okay, let's enjoy the story. Emily rarely recalled that very first meeting, when Blake seemed like the kind of man who could light up any room. She was 23, just starting at an architecture firm, dreaming of opening her own interior design studio. Her notebook was filled with sketches of future homes, always lots of light, clean lines, and coziness. Blake showed up at the company party, tall, confident, with a voice that cut through the music. He knew how to win people over. Emily kept to herself, trying not to stand out, but he noticed her. "You're too serious," he said, leaning in easily. "With that face, even tea tastes bitter." "Smile. Emily, you're beautiful when you smile." From that evening, everything changed. Their romance was whirlwind. Blake knew how to impress. Fancy restaurants, surprise trips, bold words. She was swept up in his energy. He seemed to open doors she would have been too shy to knock on. When she first confessed her dream of starting a studio, he replied, "Perfect. You'll be the brains, I'll be the muscle. I'll bring in clients, and you'll make sure they stay happy." And sure enough, the first orders came from his contacts. Emily worked nights on blueprints, while Blake set up meetings. The partnership looked solid talent and drive, but gradually, his talk shifted to my business. "Then I'm the director," he insisted. "You hate paperwork. I'll handle it. We'll sign it like this. It's temporary." Emily agreed, thinking the real work mattered most. The first cracks appeared when company money went to image. A car for meetings, watches for status. Emily saw it. It made no sense. But Blake didn't tolerate objections. His voice got louder, hers quieter. She learned to stay silent, but her silence wasn't submission. It was a weapon. Emily learned to go quiet not from weakness, but from calculation. When Blake stormed into the house ahead of his own voice, when his footsteps pushed the air aside, silence was the best armor. In silence, things became clearer. The cup on the table's edge, the robe on the chair back, the calendar marked with red tax dates. In silence, it was obvious who handled what. The interior design studio Emily built grew from her kitchen table, where she sketched first layouts into a company of 8 with a steady portfolio and its own workshop. She had clients who loved subtlety, no harsh concrete. Let's strip a layer and brighten it. Contractors who met deadlines on estimates. A small showroom space with tile samples and fabric swatches on a wooden stand, like puzzle pieces for future homes. None of it fell from the sky. It grew from her discipline. Blake helped at first. Connections. "I'll get you in with the right developer. Toss you a contract." His energy seemed like the engine early on. Later, it became clear the engine demanded more fuel and exploded now and then. He agreed to expensive things easily. Loved the impression, loved saying, "We'll just pass it to the client." Loved feeling in control. Emily loved tangible results, finished projects, happy families, work acts without fines. That evening, he walked in, as always confident, tossed his jacket on the chair, headed to the kitchen, opened a water bottle, took a few gulps. "Gather your stuff, Emily," he said evenly, like reading an agenda item. "Your business is already mine, and tomorrow you'll be out of this apartment." The words didn't hit hard. They settled like a cold cloth on hot skin. Emily set down her cup and looked at him. He looked handsome, tall, smooth shirt, faint smile. The kind of smile men use to confirm deals. Arguing's pointless. It's already signed. "On what grounds?" she asked calmly. "On the grounds that I'm the director," he replied. "And on the grounds that you've lived off me too long. I have the documents. Come to the office tomorrow, sign a couple papers, and that's it. We're adults. No hysterics." Emily nodded, like when a nurse warns, "This might sting." She knew arguing with someone who wins by volume was pointless. Her voice wasn't there. "I understand," she said, standing to take his jacket from the chair and hang it up. A simple move he always saw as surrender. Today, it was order. That night, she didn't cry. She checked her alarm, closed the window, adjusted the blanket on her legs, and lay down. Inside wasn't emptiness, but but a clear path of steps she'd been walking for months. 4 weeks before Blake's words, a notary had already visited their lives. Emily's brother, Nathan, a lawyer with solid corporate practice, came over and said, "You've put up with a lot. Patience is a virtue, but in business disputes, it's useless. If you sense him grabbing control, move first." He laid out the plan not as a brother, but as a pro. If the studio's an LLC, members can change the director by general meeting vote. If the share's in Emily's name, it can't be taken by director order. If shares are split, a corporate agreement can set voting rules. If the apartment was bought in marriage, and marriage isn't just agreed and split, but strict family code, no one gets tossed out before division. If there's risk of losing the home, secure measures needed. Emily listened, asked questions. Nathan answered patiently. No extra emotion in his voice. They went to the notary and signed a prenup-like contract, making the business Emily's personal property, apartment in equal shares, disposal only by mutual consent. The notary explained it applied forward, couldn't undo the past, but locked the regime. That same day, Nathan prepped a sole member's decision. Emily owned the share to change the director. Instead of Blake, installed a year ago temporarily, it appointed professional manager Laura Simmons with limited mandate and monthly reports to Emily. They signed at the notary and filed with tax authorities for registry update the next day. 5 business days later, the registry showed the change. Director, Simmons, LS. The bank got the updated signature card and cut Blake's remote access. Separately, Nathan filed a court motion for provisional measures. Ban registration actions on the apartment until property dispute resolution. Emily had always been disciplined, but now it was armor. She gathered herself, met with the team, explained, "Changing directors. It's procedural. All questions to me or Laura. Payment order only through approved lists." People listened, nodded. They cared about lights on at sites in the morning and pay on time. The rest details. When Blake tossed his line that evening, the documents were already in motion. Laura signed payments. The bank sent a polite letter. Access restricted due to authority change. The court issued an order banning registration actions on the apartment until final ruling. Nathan texted Emily briefly. "Sleep easy. Rest per plan." Emily didn't like war. She liked working mechanisms. Hers was assembled. In the morning, Blake arrived at the studio 15 minutes early. He loved the "I'm already here" effect. Unlocked with his key, entered the office he called mine, though inventory listed furniture as shared. On the desk, 2 folders. Top, bank letter, notifying change in first. Signature rights, user access removal. Bottom, registry printout, with bold line. Leader, Laura Simmons. Beside it, Laura's letter on letterhead, Blake. Due to director change, please transfer assets, keys, seals, and docs per inventory. Handover at noon with auditor. He grabbed the letter, flipped it, smirked. Familiar wave rose inside. "I'll call and reverse this." He dialed his bank manager. The manager politely but firmly echoed the wording. "Authority change. Registered. Can't process operations." He called a tax contact. They shrugged. "Registry's clean." He called his lawyer. "Need to see docs. Court, notary serious. Don't smash the desk." Blake stepped into the main room. Staff stared silently. The quiet was unnatural. Usually, he entered like sun through clouds beaming, with a "well, friends," and shoulder slap to the junior architect. Today, no place for that gesture. "Where's Emily?" he asked. "Soon," Laura replied, emerging from the conference room. "Blake, handover at noon. We have a contractor call now. Please don't interrupt." They ousted him neatly, politely, no rudeness. The tone humiliated more than yelling. He stood in the room like someone whose card got declined first time. "I've always been right." Then back to the office, frantically flipping folders. The order was alien, merciless order staring from every line. At noon sharp, Auditor Ian entered, laid blank inventory. Laura brought keys and seal from safe. "Let's start," she said. "Tech first, then docs, then personal items. Take personals now." "You're not firing me," Blake tried smiling. "Just stepping away." "Not firing," Laura nodded. "Authority change standard procedure." At that moment, Emily entered. No triumph. Dark sweater, hair up, folder in hand. "Good morning," she said. "Transition will be smooth. Please hand over per list." "Think you've won?" he whispered. "Just for her. This isn't over." "It's not winning," she whispered back. "It's protecting. Ends in court." Court speaks softly, read papers. He looked at her like seeing her anew. Before, he saw her as a pivot to press, and it'd hold. Now, the pivot was a structure with no handholds. By 2, inventory signed. Blake grabbed jacket, pocketed watch, phone, business cards. At the door. "Remember who made you somebody?" Emily didn't reply. Laura softly closed behind him. That evening, studio empty, Emily lingered on details like old photos. The stool from her first night tallying invoices, shelf with rain effect plaster samples, conference door handle picked with a serious client. Everything in place, only signatures changed below. Blake thought home was power territory. He loved grand gestures, big TVs, flashy chairs, heavy curtains, apartment titled to him, on paper. In reality, mortgage paid from both wallets, remodeled by her. He figured paper wasn't argument, but tool. Draw what we need. This time, paper wasn't his. Nathan filed property division suit with Emily. Attached motion for secures. Ban apartment registrations. Judge reviewed. Ordered it. Registry noted encumbrance. No disposals. Blake learned via realtor. Can't close deal. That evening, he came home early. "You ruined my life," he said in the hall. "I wanted to sell and buy better. You always ruin everything." "I banned you from disposing my home till court," Emily replied. "Not the same. This is my home," he raised voice. "Our home," she said evenly. "Court sees it as joint, till decided, no one disposes." He leaned on wall, rubbed face. His move when plans failed. "Playing court?" he asked. "How long?" "Long is living uncertain," she said. "Court is certainty, even unpleasant." He went to study, slammed door. That night, she woke to silence that no longer pressed. Home felt light. Not because he stopped yelling volume dials down, but because the sense of masking yours as another's vanished. Masks hung by entry, hearings dragged in steady sequence. Blake's lawyer argued husband's contribution, contract as deprivation attempt, ingratitude. Nathan countered with cites, clause such, arbitration court practice from payments confirmed. Emily's fingers shook only first time at podium. Body adjusted to courtroom rhythm. Stand, sit, explain, attach. "One hearing," judge asked. "Plaintiff, what do you seek?" Emily, "Fix property regime per marriage contract. Recognize my business right in apartment share. Divide. I ask no more than due." Defendant, judge turned to Blake. "What do you seek?" "Justice," he said. "She destroyed the family." Judge peered over glasses. "Court examines legal relations, not emotions." "Pleas on merits," he faltered. Glanced at lawyer. Lawyer touched sleeve, trying to steer. But channel was law laid. Half hour before verdict, Emily sat on corridor bench, watching window light. Nearby, whispers, nervous phone flips, water from plastic cups. World outside lived on. Inside, her coordinates decided. Verdict read without pause. Court finds marriage contract valid. Business Emily's personal, apartment joint. Equal shares. Given Emily resides and bears costs, Blake has other housing. His share compensable by money. Encumbrance holds till execution. Costs per partial claim satisfaction. Someone sighed in room. Blake pursed lips. Emily felt spine straighten half-inch, enough to walk differently. Life post-court wasn't party. It got simple. Morning coffee lost metallic taste. Calendar had only work reds. Project deadline, supplier pay. Studio ran like clockwork. Laura handled finances. Emily oversaw design. Team defended concepts at client meets. Some clients who loved noise and now left. Others came liking calm, precision. Not loss, tuning. Blake transferred apartment share compensation in parts. Bank notified politely. Emily forwarded to Nathan. He replied with terse emojis, like a man who thinks fewer words, fewer loose ends. One evening, mother-in-law called. Voice dry. I won't apologize, she said, but I'll say, I thought you weak. Mistaken. Thanks for honesty, Emily replied. It's rare. How's life? By schedule, she said. Like before? Only now it's mine. Spring, Emily bought new lamp for studio showroom, not too pricey, amber glass. Evening switch on, soft but sure light, like timely, yes, on point. Laura brought pie. Staff grabbed disposables. Someone joked about light selling itself. Cozy. Coziness isn't crowds and noise, but simple things in places. Summer, she booked trip, not cheapo, but dreamed city. Went alone, no duties, no reports. Walked waterfronts, sat small cafes by water, noted in phone. Laurel sent here. Chairs creak, no one irks. Sunsets even on bridge. Return wasn't hard. Home waited, fall. Studio landed big order. Bakery chain, warm and cozy. Emily concepted wood and white tile. Laura secured no. Risk prepays. Workers neat. Opening day, owners hugged. Rare talent, do it all without yelling. She smiled. Best compliment. December, she hung small frame in bedroom. Printed phrase, papers stronger than shouts. No manifesto, no dare. Reminder. Shouts habit of powerless. Paper language world agrees to speak when emotions fail. January, Blake texted. Meet peacefully. They met at cafe. He came, sans flash. Thought you'd break, he said. That's how it's set up. Louder wins but opposite. Each tool, its sphere, she replied. You're loud. Court's quiet. In quiet. Documents heard. He nodded, eyed window. You've changed. I stopped pretending convenience, she said. Easier than thought. They parted calmly. No bitterness. Two people, different tongues, reached same. Truth works better than show. That evening, Emily home, set kettle, while boiling, opened window. Cold air entered kitchen cautiously. City buzzed affairs. Yard argument over parking. Mom calling kid from slide. Old man debating trash fee with neighbor. World not perfect. It became hers. Enough. She pulled archive box from cabinet. To passport, contracts, certs. Added court decisions, registry extracts, bank letters. Papers dull, rectangular, scentless, her best friends of passing year. With them. House quiet. And in quiet. Finally, she could hear her heart beat again.